just off the top of your heads, are there any other books? I mean, like, it doesn't even have to be like within the realm of horror. But just any books recommend? I'm currently going through Bret Easton Ellis's bookography, which is like pretty easy to like. I used to read a shitload in junior high, so like I covered like essentials and like Chuck Palahniuk, you know, when I was 12, and then now I feel like I'm catching myself up. So I'm like in the middle of Bret Easton Ellis's bookography, which I love, and then like going deeper, I'm gonna like go through like Hemingway and just like building myself up. But even before I get into like literary classics or whatever, just any books in general that are worth checking out.
I mean, it sounds goofy, but you could quickly go through them. But man. Yeah. Some of the weirdest shit you'll ever read are all the original Oz books. Like
Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like all of that. What's his name? L. Frank Baum?
Mm-hmm.
Those are, I mean, they're children's books, but like you'll just read some of the weirdest shit. I don't know. Those are like really spooky to me. But,
sounds spooky.
I'll tell you 3 books you should read. Read, if you haven't read The Stars My Destination.
Yeah, I have that. I'm gonna check that out.
By Alfred Bester.
Yeah.
You can also read The Demolished Man, which is like...
Same author?
Almost as good. Yeah, same author. Definitely read Red Harvest.
Ooh, what's that?
By Dashiell Hammett. It's the book that inspired Yojimbo, which then in turn inspired, okay, cool. You know, Fistful of Dollars and all those other movies. And also, I think you would really like And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie.
Okay, that's like one of the most selling books of all time.
You'll really like it. It's like the story is. They set up a gimmick at the beginning of the story, and it's very fun to watch how it plays out. So those are 3 books that I really recommend. All of them are like less than 300 pages. So.
I wasn't even looking. What was the chat saying in terms of book recommendations?
Chat was saying I have a short attention span, which might be true. Might be true.
But I think that's a safe thing. What you said about Stephen King, all you're saying is about getting into it.
Yeah, like, I just want the fucking fun, unique plot.
If you really love those shorts, then start reading his longest shit. Like, I'm not saying not to, but it was hard. Honestly, like I tried to introduce myself to Stephen King through The Stand, and it was hard. It was so many pages to get through and whatever, and I read other stuff and I returned to The Stand and I loved it.
Plus, honestly, Stephen King has a style and it might be hard to swallow if you just dive into a giant book. That's why the short stories, they introduce you to Stephen King, and if you like it, you can expand on it.
Yeah.
So, check those out.
Try the Bible. All right, cool.
What? Oh.
Try the Bible. I always tell people you should read Candide by Voltaire. That's the oldest book I ever read that I fell in love with. I think that book is legitimately amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is the oldest book you've read and loved?
I'm pretty sure that book was written like 14 and something.
That was?
It's like
600 I'm trying to think.
Harry Potter. No. I mean, like...
like I said, the Oz books, weren't those in the 20s? Earlier?
I'm not sure.
Because I loved those. But I'm also thinking, you know what? I really, I think it was.
Oh, I have another one. I read Dante's Inferno. I don't know when that was written, but I'm pretty sure it was written in the Middle Ages. And
at least before the 60s.
Was before the 60s. Dante's Inferno is pretty good.
1460s.
I that's the thing. I haven't read any classics that I really liked. I mean, like I like the George Orwell stuff, like in the like 1984.
The 3 books I recommended to you were books that I read really fast. Some books I read and I enjoy them, but they honestly take me a couple months to get through. But those 3, it was like I couldn't put them down for went through in a matter of days.
When was 1984 written? Do you know?
Yeah, it was written in 1934.
Is that what it was?
Read 1984.
I read that. Yeah.
It was written to be 50 years ahead of when it took place.
I didn't realize
I read 1984 for the first time this year, and...
Oh, shit, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. You read it?
Yeah.
I picked it up just kind of like, let's see what this book's about, and right from the beginning, I was like, oh, fuck.
All the other classes around me at my high school read 1984, and our school, my class skipped it.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah,
it was written in 1949.
Wow.
Well, if you read it, 1949, yeah. And it's like,
I thought it was... Yeah,
but like still, that's still way fucking early for how prescient and like relevant.
That's what blew my mind about the last book I read in high school was Brave New World, and it was about the future, and it was so spot on. And then I thought the cover that we got was reprinted in the 80s, and it was all this 80s
32.
artwork. So I thought they wrote it in the 80s, and it was only towards the end that the teacher was like, yeah, so in 32 when they were writing, it's like fucking 1932 they wrote this. That blew my mind.
That was like way before AOL.
A little bit.
Other thing, I had a question about Dune. I heard Dune.
I've never read Dune. It's hard to find in thrift stores, and I try to buy books in thrift stores because you can get them for $1.
Yeah, that's what Josie and I always go to the like libraries. You can buy books for
anybody
free.
out there who wants to get into Stephen King, don't go to a bookstore, go to a thrift store. He is the most populous author to find in thrift stores. And you can find first edition Stephen King books, hardcovers from the 80s for $1.
Yeah.
Why spend $15 for a paperback printed last year when you get a first edition for $1?
That's what I went to the Mission Viejo library where I live in Orange County. The Mission Viejo library is like the nicest library. You go in, there are carts and carts and carts of free books. Please take them.
Yeah.
And then like in the used bookstore, they had classic books, and it was all these old ass Hemingways for like 50 cents. And so I got his whole bookography for like.
You know what? Skip Hemingway. Read Bukowski.
Oh yeah. I heard
Bukowski.
women.
Women is good. It's a dirty book. It talks about sex.
Oh shit.
Never mind.
I can't.
You would probably like Post Office because it's about just working for the post office. Is the first book he wrote.
Oh, that's gonna be a new show on NBC.
And
what?
Yeah, check out Bukowski, man. He's good.
Okay, another question. What is your least favorite book you've ever read? You finished it? You read the whole thing?
Oh wait,
you finished
hold on.
it?
This is what I was gonna say about Dune real quick. I haven't read Dune. It's very hard to find in thrift stores. I saw it yesterday in Barnes & Noble, but it was like a 900-page book. And I really want to read it, but I know it's like, oh, dude, I'm not going to get through this right now. Like, I have so much shit to do. Like, I can't dedicate myself to a book that long.
Also, the thing with, like, Dune, like, with a lot of these books, is, like, there's Dune, and then, like, 5 sequels, but I'm just going to read just...
Only read Dune, because everybody I know who's read Dune was so excited once they finished it to read all the rest, and it was just... series of bigger disappointment after bigger disappointment, and just the consensus was like, there's Dune, and then there's everything else that's not Dune.
So many, So worst book that it finished.
Worst book, you finished it. And it was
like books
fuck
I hate.
this.
Well, like, it would just be
so probably in school.
It'd be shit for school.
Because I can tell you right now, The Good Earth. The Good Earth is about like a Chinese farm family. And it was like, I planted this, and then I watched it grow, and then it didn't grow how I wanted.
Siddhartha or whatever, and it's all shit like that.
Holy shit, fuck that book. The Good Earth. Fuck The Good Earth.
I realized that I'm pretty sure every book they made you read in high school was just getting you prepared that life is going to suck. I realized that because when I was reading those books in high school, I was always pissed off. And I was like, why are you making me read the most fucking depressing shit? Like, I get it. The character's life sucks. He loses all his money. His family dies. I fucking get it.
Yeah.
Why? But then I left and I reflected on those stories that I read when I was younger. And I'd be like, you know, I feel like I could relate more to those stories now. I think I realized what I didn't realize as a kid. That life really sucks sometimes. And I feel like that's what every single book in high school is trying to prepare you for.
I think,
but like, shit like Of Mice and Men do that while still moving you and still whatever. Like, I loved that. That affected me and stuff like that. The Good fucking Earth? I planted a carrot and it wasn't very good? Shut the fuck up. Oh, we planted carrots. They're not as good as I hoped the carrots would be. Fucking kill yourself. The Good Earth.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Honestly, I can't remember the books I hated. I only remember the books I liked. I don't feel like I really enjoyed like The Scarlet Letter that much, but it wasn't the worst book ever.
Worst book I probably read on my own. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but I think like as an adult, when I think back, I read the like film to novel adaptation of Evolution, the Sean William Scott, David Duchovny film from like 2000.
Wait, what was it?
There's a summer movie called Evolution, like a sci-fi comedy.
Oh, I remember that.
I read like the I never saw the movie, but I read the adapted novel of it. So it's like, all right, why did I waste my time with it?
I read every single one of the Resident Evil books.
Hey, those are great.
Every single one.
Those are amazing.
In college, they made us read All the King's Men. That was like torture. That was
really?
I understand. It's a literary classic, but just it was.
Is that about Humpty Dumpty?
It was in a mental space that I was not. Right. I'm a 19-year-old kid making Mega 64, and I have to read about some like maybe corrupt politician and his campaign trail in 1930s Louisiana or whatever.
Oh, that sounds boring.
Yeah, dude. It was like homework every night was just to not fall asleep. And
I thought when you say Kingsman, I thought like Game of Thrones type shit. But no, it's fucking boring.
No, it was fucking boring. I'm sure I If I was older, I'd like it, but
boring.
It's not ready for it.
I feel like I had this conversation with. I think it's a tired conversation, but just the idea of like. I read so much in junior high, and then in high school I had to read all these boring books. I stopped reading because it made me hate reading, and it's not until I was an adult now. Oh, reading is fucking great,
Yeah. But in all honesty, in high school we had they got rid of it after graduating.
Yeah.
But we had a program where in every year you had to read an amount of pages.
I did that same thing. Yeah.
And that killed reading for me because it was like I was reading stuff for fun outside of class. And then it became, no, but not enough. What? Well, this is a really good 400-page book. You got to read 1,200. Oh. There's only 3 more weeks. So I would force myself to read all this shit that, it like wrecked it for me. And throughout college, I'll tell you right now, I didn't read shit.
Yeah.
Because I was burnt. And now, again, as you said, I'm an older guy, and now I'm like devouring nonfiction and some fiction, whatever. But, it's like I had to recover.
You know what? People, they say I have a short attention span, but it was the required reading in high school that made me fall in love with short books. Because, hey, a story that's over 100 pages for a high schooler is easy to get through, and you do 3 of those, and it's like, cool, 3 stories.
Yeah.
Instead of one massive 1,000-page book, you're just like,
all that mattered was pages, and that made no sense to me.
Yeah.
To me, let me read a book in my own time that I love and have me report on it by the end of the, something I'm passionate about. I'll make a presentation about it.
Yeah. The only time I like the School Enforcement one is when I got a free personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut if I read a certain amount of pages.
Yeah, I always read.
I was like, I gotta get that pizza. I gotta get that pizza.
My mom and dad would never get Pizza Hut, so it was like, I'm getting that. Just so you know, I'm getting that Pizza Hut.
Man, they make you read some of the shittiest books in school.
Yep.
I read a book called Bless Me Ultima. Fucking kill Ultima. Kill me Ultima.
The thing with like English classes, I loved English class and I loved it. I didn't do most of the required book stuff, so I would get an A's on everything else. Anything related to like the text you're supposed to read, I wouldn't do. I would do bomb on that, but then I would pass with a C. So I'd get an A and everything else, F on all the required reading, I'd pass with a C. So that's why the only books I did read in high school, it's like, 1984, great, like Animal Farm. Like, if it was interesting, I would read it. Otherwise, I would just bullshit it. So, you gotta hook me in. But also, I feel like my teachers didn't do a good job contextualizing why we had to read this shit. Yeah. There's always, this is on the required, they just, like, burn into their unit without ever being like, this is why this book is important. I feel like they didn't do a good job contextualizing it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, if Derek was with you, you'd be like, hey, life sucks, I'm gonna prepare you for it. It's like, alright.
Dude, teachers can't tell you that.
That's true.
Imagine a teacher telling a high school class, like, hey, I'm gonna be real with you. Life sucks. It doesn't get better, it gets worse.
Hey, I will say this, though. I had a teacher named Mr. Lay back in, like, 6th grade. And he gave us everyone said, he's a nice guy, you'll like him, he's gonna give you the hardest work you've ever had.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I got assigned that teacher. I was like, we'll see how this goes. Yeah. He would give you projects. All right, we're reading about mummies. You're going to research everything about mummies and make a sarcophagus and decorate the whole thing.
That sounds fun.
And decorate the whole thing, but you're going to have to do it in ways that they would express certain things. Like the way that they would speak, you'd have to kind of learn their language and do that. Because everyone's like, I'm just going to decorate it and put skulls on it. Yeah. No, you have to learn da-da-da-da. And you have to... and then we do assignments where, okay, you have to make this book, but you have to also detail how much you spent on this book and talk about if it would be worth it to da-da-da-da. He would have it. Yeah. He would have everything that would sound fun, and then it would have this grisly underbelly to it. Like, you have to do this and this and this and this and this. And towards the end of the year, he told us, he said, all right, you've got one more hard assignment to go. And my goal with this class was to teach you that that shit gets laid. He didn't say shit, but basically said, you worked harder in this class than any other class, and there will come days that you have to work like this. In 7th grade, they're going to challenge you half as much as I did you, but now you're going to have a great 7th grade, but you'll know how hard it could get. So you got to, basically he was just like, hey, I'm letting you know right now, not everything is easy and whatever. He had like a whole message about it. Yeah. I took that with me forever, and for years afterwards, it was like, I was always like, oh, they threw us a hard assignment. Well, nothing's as hard as what we did in 6th grade. Like it's like I had that context.
I had like a teacher I got lucky. I was in like the GATE program, whatever. It was like advanced, whatever. So 5th and 6th grade, I had the same teacher. Same thing. It was that. Oh, it was hard, but it was like one of those like really great teachers. Yeah. And then in high school, I had like 2 teachers that were like, oh, great. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have a good teacher in junior high. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just having those few teachers that are like, oh, okay, they teach you stuff. But in junior high, I read a lot though. But my English classes, I didn't read.
Sweet.
Well, there you go.
Book talk. Let's end it on that.
Hey, yeah, we're going to end it on that. I have to talk to you about something.
Uh-oh. Book talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can't know.
Hey,
you can't know what it was.
If you have good recommendations for books, tweet at me or whatever the fuck.
Tweet at him.
Yeah.